Dear students, I welcome you all for this wonderful video lecture series on problem solving using C++. And today we are going to talk about static member functions. In the last class, we had discussed static data members. It means that it is just little bit different from the normal class members because what we had discussed in the last class, static data members, right? Yeah, the class members is generally we are declaring members like variables inside the class. We are called class members. So if the data member is preceded with the keyword called static, we said static data member, and functionally how it executes is also we had discussed. I hope you understood in the last class. And today we are discussing about static member functions, and normally we had discussed class members member function, right? How we are declare and define the member functions inside the class as well as outside the class. It's last class we had discussed, and today we'll see about static member functions. Before that, I will introduce myself. Myself, Shankar. I'm working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at RMD Engineering College, Chennai. Let's go to the topic. Today topic is static member functions. Let us see one by one how it's works. The static member functions are special functions used to access the static data member or other static member functions. So you should know this difference clearly, right? The static member functions are the special functions used to access the static data members or other static member functions. If a member function is defined with the keyword called static, then we can say these are all static member functions. So normally you just recall in the last lecture what we said. If the data member is declared with this keyword called static at the beginning, we said it is static data member. Similarly, if the member function is defined with the keyword called static, then we can say it is static data member, right? And one more you should remember always, the static data members are used to access the static data members or static member functions, right? And next, a static member function shares a single copy of the member function to any number of class objects. This is common because in the last lecture itself, we said the data member, static data member is also same, right? It shares copy of all the objects, right? So similarly here, static member function is also shares a single copy of the member function to any number of class objects. It is common, right? So because of static. And next, we can access static member functions using class name. You have to remember once again, we can access the static member function using class name or class objects. If static member function access any non-static data member or non-static member function, it throws error. You once again remember this is another point, right? It's very important because what happened here is students are declaring static member function, but what they are doing here is they are calling non-static data member or non-static member functions inside the static member function. That time it shows an error. That's why I clearly said in the first slide itself, it means that this is special member function used to access only the static data member or other static data member functions. So what happened if you are using non-static members, whether it is data member or member functions, right? However, if you are using non-static data member inside the static member function, it shows error. It shows error. You should remember this, right? Yes. Syntax syntax for declaring static member function or defining a member function is class name, function name. It should preceded with the static keyword, right? I'll let you know in the example. I used here static keyword, and if you want any parameter, you can use parameter. Actually, this is only function call, right? Oh yes, what I said here is, you just remember, we can access static member function using class name or object. So if you are calling a static function name with the class name, you should use class name, scope resolution operator, and function. This is function call, right? Similarly, one minute, right? This is generally function call. And next, let us see example. Whatever the points which we have discussed, you just please remember while I'm explaining this example, then only you can able to understand. Otherwise, it is somewhat difficult. Yes, right. So we know that initially we have to include the iostream.h. So the basic header file is iostream that we have included. Because of NCC version we have used here namespace, using namespace std. Otherwise we can use for turbo, we can use include iostream.h, because I remember C, that's why I said stdio. So you just forgot about it. For C++ we should use iostream.h. So for ANSI we can include only iostream. So the class name is node here, right? You just see class is a keyword, node is a class name. You should remember once again here, the class is a keyword, right? So it must be a small letter C. So in this slide I have mentioned here capital C is not correct. You should use here small c. Okay, so let us see, the member is static int num, right? So what this is actually static data member. You just remember the last class what I said. The syntax for declaring static data member is static data type and member name, right? So static is a keyword. We can use any for C++ data type. Here we have used int, and num is the data member name, right? You just see here, normally how we are defining class member function is return type function name. Return type function, that is int function name we have used. But here the function definition preceded with the keyword called static, right? It means that it becomes static member function. So what I said here is, you simply return the static data member. You just compare here, right? You just compare here what I said. The static member function must be used only static data member or other static member function. It will not use any non-static data member. So inside this static member function we have used num. Num is already declared as static data member, so it is okay. Suppose if you want to know clear about it, you just remove here static keyword, then it becomes non-static data member. If you run this program, it won't work, because num is non-static member. Non-static member does not use inside the static member function. But here there is no problem, because we have used the num as static data member. It works fine. And next, let us see here. I have defined, sorry, not like this, here up to this. Here I have defined the static data member int. Int is a return type and node is a class name, right? Scope resolution operator. Then the static data member is num. I have initialized this here is 5. Dear students, you just please remember once again, in the last class what we have discussed in the video lecture, what I have said here is, I have defined one static data member similarly same, but I have initialized the value as 0, right? But here I'm giving here 5, because what I said in the last class also, if you want to assign any 0 value, you need not to specify there. But here I have given 5. So if you are giving 5, it takes as 5. If you're not mentioned, then it automatically takes as 0 while we are creating the first object in the class, right? So here next I have created a main method. So here I call the function, right? So you just compare the syntax, class name, scope resolution operator, function name. If the function has any parameter, you need to specify the parameter. So you just see here, class name is node and scope resolution operator is mentioned here. The function name is fun, right? So you just once again remember here the function name is fun, but here they have given func. So you should not use here c, because the function name must be matched with the function definition, right? So fun you should give here, then return 0. So what happened, automatically it goes to the function definition. In this function definition, what we have said, you just simply return num. What value I have mentioned here, num? The num value is 5. So simply the output is 5. You just see here, this is cout statement. Directly it prints whatever there in the double quotes. The value of num is. Then it returns num value. Num value is 5. So the 5 is output. Right? I hope you understood how we are using the static member function. Once again, I'm repeating the rules. You just follow, right? Static member functions are special member functions. It used to access the static data members or other static member function. It means that it will not allow any other non-static data members, whether it is data member or member function, right? Also, the static member function must be declared or defined using static keyword, and it shares a single copy of member functions to any number of objects, right? So and it use the class name or class object for calling the function. The syntax for calling the function is this one, right? uh, I hope you understood about static member function, how it executes. And thank you guys for watching this video lecture. Thank you once again.